The confirmation of charges hearing in the case of the Prosecutor versus Bahar Idriss Abu Garda at the International Criminal Court is scheduled to start on Monday, 19 October 2009, and is expected to last for 2 weeks. The International Criminal Court is the first ever permanent international court with jurisdiction to prosecute individuals responsible for the most serious crimes of international concern: genocide, crimes against humanity, and war crimes. It is based in Europe, the Netherlands, in a town called The Hague. The Office of the Prosecutor is currently conducting investigations in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Central African Republic, Sudan, and Uganda. The Darfur situation was referred to the court by the United Nations Security Council in 2005. In the context of the situation in Darfur, 3 warrants of arrest have been delivered by the International Criminal Court against Omar al-Bashir, the President of Sudan, Ahmad Haroun, the current governor of South Kordofan and former Minister for Humanitarian Affairs, and Ali Kushaib, the alleged commander of the Janjaweed militia. They are suspected of committing crimes against humanity and war crimes and remain at large. The prosecutor of the court requested summons to appear be issued against 3 rebel commanders who may have been involved in the attack against the peacekeeping forces in Haskanita in September 2007. We asked the registrar of the court, Ms. Silvana Arbia, what is the summons to appear?
Warrant of arrest and summons to appear are both issued with the same purpose: to make suspect appear before the court. The judges can issue either an arrest warrant or a summons to appear for persons who have allegedly committed crimes within the jurisdiction of the court. To issue a summons to appear, the judges must be satisfied that there are reasonable grounds to believe that the suspect will appear voluntarily before the court.
First Commander Bahar Idriss Abu Garda voluntarily appeared before Pretrial Chamber 1 in May 2009. The identities of the other 2 commanders remain under seal. The confirmation of charges hearing is a public hearing where ICC judges will decide whether or not there is sufficient evidence to believe that Bahar Idriss Abu Garda might have committed the crimes that the prosecutor has presented before the judges. The purpose of the hearing is to ensure the fairness of the process by protecting the suspects from facing charges without substantial grounds and evidence. It is usually held in the presence of the prosecutor, the suspect and their defense counsel, and the legal representatives of the victims, but the presence of the suspect is not a must. We asked Béatrice Lefrapper du Helin, head of the Jurisdiction, Complementarity and Cooperation Division of the Office of the Prosecutor, about the charges Abu Garda is facing.
Abu Garda is allegedly responsible for an attack carried out in September 2007 against peacekeepers in Darfur, against peacekeepers who were stationed in a base called Ashkanita in North Darfur. When he attacked with his troops, 12 African Union soldiers were killed. 8 others were severely wounded. The camp was pillaged and the African Union had to withdraw. Abu Garda says that he is acting on behalf of the Darfuri people, but those peacekeepers were protecting the Darfuri people. When he attacked them, he contributed to undermining the protection of those civilians. The peacekeepers came from Mali, they came from Senegal, they came from Nigeria, they came from Botswana. They came to serve and protect their fellow African citizens who are being attacked in Darfur, who are being raped, who are being killed by the army of President Bashir and the associated militia Janjaweed. Attacking peacekeepers is a very serious crime under the Rome Statute. Prosecutor Moreno Ocampo takes his responsibility to prosecute such crimes very seriously. In the course of the confirmation of charges, he will bring evidence and he will support each charge with sufficient evidence to show that Abu Garda planned, organized, and contributed to the attack.
Bahar Idriss Abu Garda is represented by defense counsel Karim Khan. Mr. Karim Khan confirmed that his client is intending to be present during the confirmation of charges hearing.
My client will be attending the hearing. The registry of the International Criminal Court is working with great diligence to organize the logistical arrangements that are necessary. And in that regard, they are conducting negotiations with the Dutch government as the host country to facilitate my client's appearance at the confirmation hearing. But it is our wish and intention that Bahar Idriss Abu Garda will be in attendance at the confirmation hearing. The role of the defence is to represent the suspect, and that can take many forms. Primarily, it is to hear in detail what the prosecution allegations are, and to the extent that is considered appropriate at this stage of proceedings to test that evidence or to make submissions as to the sufficiency or inadequacy of the evidence that the prosecution put forward in their attempt to have the charges confirmed. We are not obliged to call any evidence in any shape or form, either by way of a live witness called a viva voce witness or by way of witness statements. The obligation is fully and squarely upon the prosecution to persuade the judges that there is a case that merits going forward to trial. Notwithstanding that, we will be relying upon some witness statements of the defence, and also we are seeking to call the prosecution team leader in charge of investigations, and we have questions that we wish to put to him as to the scope and focus of the investigation carried out, which has resulted in my client being summoned and has given rise to the confirmation hearing itself.
Paulina Masida, the head of the Office of the Public Counsel for Victims, confirmed that 78 victims are recognized by the court in this case.
These 78 victims recognized as participants in the confirmation of the charges hearing are essentially either direct victims of the attack in Ashkanita with the alleged events which took place. These are personnel of the African Union mission in Sudan at that point in time, but also family members of AMIS personnel. These family members who have lost their family members during the attack. During the confirmation of the charges hearing, as in all the proceedings before the court, legal representative presents the views and concerns of victims, and they do so in accordance with a set of modalities which are established by the relevant chamber, in this case pre-trial chamber 1. Specifically for the Abu Garda confirmation of the charges hearing, victims are allowed to make opening and closing statements in relation to the case. They are allowed to have access to all public documents in the case record. They could, after requesting so to the chamber, they could also question witnesses. This is the first time in the history of the confirmation of the charges, since up to now legal representatives were not allowed to question witnesses. We'll see if a pre-trial chamber, if there is a request in this sense, if a pre-trial chamber will allow legal representative to question witness.
Pre-trial Chamber 1 consists of 3 judges: Judge Silvia Steiner, presiding, Judge Sanji Mmasenono Monageng, and Judge Cuno Tarfusser. Upon hearing all sides, the judges will render a written decision within 60 days of final day of the confirmation hearing. The judges, upon evaluation of the presented evidence, can decide to confirm the charges and proceed to trial, or refuse to confirm the charges, adjourn the hearing, and request additional evidence or request an amendment of the charges from the prosecutor. At the close of the confirmation hearing, if the judges conclude that there is sufficient evidence to support the charges, the case against Abu Garda will proceed to trial. A trial chamber with new judges would be responsible for trying him. The judges would discuss with the prosecutor, the defense, and the legal representatives of the victims to make all necessary arrangements to facilitate the fair and expeditious conduct of the trial.